What is going on? It's your boy Tim here from Wellington City UB campus. I teach web and UX design, and today we're here because we're going to look at how to update a website that might look a little crap. So let's have a look at this company here. We've got the Ligma Firewood Company. We've got a logo up on here on the top left, and we've got some links on the right. The menu's looking okay, but we could do a bit more with this. So let's start off with the menu. The menu has spacing that isn't perfectly consistent, and what we want to do with the menu is get more consistent spacing. In other words, we want this space which is over here to be the same space which is over here, and also the top and bottom spacing, which looks alright. So let's jump in and get this logo more closer in the middle, like the links are. There we go. Awesome. It's looking a little better. And there's another thing we could do here. So what we want to do with this website is obviously sell firewood through this website. And what we often have here is a call to action. So what we use is a call to action. And what that is it's usually a button right at the end of the main navigation links, and you make it stand out so people click on it. Now what's the button going to say? Well, the button is usually going to be the main service you want to sell on the website. So for example, we have a firewood company here, so we're going to put in buy firewood. Perfect. Then we can put it on the end, and then we can make it look like a button as well. So right now it just looks like a regular link, but what we can do is we can go in, chuck in a rectangle there, and then get rid of the fill, make it transparent. We'll give it a stroke, so that's a border or an outline. We'll give it a bit of border radius. It's clearly not border radius. Let's give it a bit of border radius there. We'll increase the stroke on there. And then what we can do is we can establish an accent color. So what's an accent color? Well, an accent color is a thing you can use to draw attention to certain parts of the website. So it acts as like an emphasis, as an emphasis would act as if you were talking to someone. So it's when they know that it's an important detail. So to add an accent color to this button, what I can do is change the fill, so change the color of the text, and then we might just use the logo color here, if we can get it right. There we go. And we'll use the logo as an accent color. Then we can do that again with the stroke. We'll do that again there. And then what I think we'll do is make the stroke a little bit bigger. Maybe make it around 3. And then what we can do is make the text a little bit larger as well, in terms of the boldness. So we'll make it medium like that, and we'll make sure these are all lined up. And there we have it. We have a call to action button there. It's telling you that you can go ahead and buy the firewood online. What this ends up doing is driving a lot more people to click on that button because they see it right there. It's so easy to click on, and the first thing they think of is, I want some firewood, my house is a little cold, I'm going to go ahead and click on buy firewood. Now let's keep going here and move through to the next section. So this is usually called your hero section. And what it is it's the main section that will sell all the products on the website. So what you want to put here in this text is something similar to what I've got here, which is your main tagline. Sum up the business, sum up how the business can solve your problem in a short sentence. Now you can have more than one sentence if you want. You could have a smaller sentence beneath it, but at the very least you want to get your H1 element here, if you know a bit of HTML, CSS, and make sure it sums up the whole business. So what we'll do here is fix it up, because how it's looking is we've got some centered aligned, we've got the text that's in the center, but it's not aligned to the center like this. Now we could go for that. That looks a little bit better. But what I think we'll do is we'll clean it up and make it easier to read. Now the issue we've got here is that we've got an image below the text. And we have enough real estate on the screen where we can show both of them at once and save you space. So what we'll actually do is make this text left aligned and then drag in the image and chuck it up there. Now check this out, we've just saved a whole bunch of space. And now you might be thinking, but Tim, that looks like crap. Your website looks like crap. Your image is overlapping this thing here. You can't read your text. You can't do anything on this. What is going on there, Tim? You have no idea what you're on about. And if you ask that, what I'd tell you is, well, we're just getting started here because there's a few things we can do to clean that up. Now, firstly, I'll just drag this guy up here to join it up. So we've got our two sections. Now what we can do here is we've got quite a few options. Now what you could do is give the text a shadow. So this is a little trick you can do. You give it a white shadow and then you can turn up the opacity and increase the spread, increase the blur, and sometimes that will make the text a little bit easier to read. So as you can see, it's a little bit easy to read, but it's still kind of hard to read. You've got quite a lot of contrast there. So another thing we could do, and this is the way I think we're going to do it, we're going to do both ways. Okay, we're going to do both ways here. We're going to select this image, we're going to make it almost full screen. Now what we'll do is we'll go in the effects and get the image to have an inner shadow. Now let's get the image to have a white shadow and then spread it out. So let's say 150 spread, make it complete opacity, and then give it a wee bit of blur there. Now if we move in and adjust these variables here, so if I go 200 on the X variable with the shadow, what we'll end up doing is kind of getting a cutaway here. So as you can see, we've got a type of cutaway on the image. Now that is another way you can get your text, so you can see your text over the image. So you've got a few options here. As you can see, I'm just cleaning it up, making it look a little bit more sharp there. Let's drag this in there. So there we go. Now the thing is, you can get these images looking like this through Photoshop, through gradients. I'm just showing you with a mock-up template here. You can also use CSS to do this. So you have lots of options in terms of building your sites there and achieving this look. Now the final section that we're going to do here is we're going to do the next section which comes after the hero. So generally after the hero section you might have a bunch of features on the website or a why choose us. So a section which will answer your most basic questions that you might have off the top of your head. So it's like a sales pitch really, and you'll often see this on websites. Now we've got one here which is very boring. We've got why choose us and we have 3 bullet points. Now what we want to do with websites is we want to make them fun to use, and we want to make them fun to explore, and we want them to be friendly and to look cool. So we're not really achieving this with our headings here. What we want to do is, firstly, why choose us? We want to make this front and center, because that's the big question. Why choose Ligma Firewood Company? So let's make that bold. And let's make it a little bit bigger because it's not really big enough to see much of a difference over that text below it. So once we've done that, it's much more obvious. And what we could also do is add a little underline here. So that's another way you can establish hierarchy. So this is what hierarchy is. It's establishing the importance of different elements. And by using an underline, it draws your eyes to the main heading of this section, which is Why Choose Us. Now we could make Why Choose Us a different color. We could make it the accent color if we wanted to. We could also choose a different color over the website because we've only got one accent color here. Now here's a little secret that I don't just share with anyone. You can base your color scheme off the logo, as I've been doing obviously, or you could base it off the main images that you see across the site. So you can use the color palette off the first few elements you see on the site and use that across the whole site. And obviously that first element is going to represent the website. In this case, it's the firewood burning in the stove. You know, beautiful firewood that Figma firewood company has created. This is their service. This is what they're providing to the public, providing to the people. Now if you look here up on the top right, you can see I'm choosing some orange. So perhaps our accent color is a nice orange. You know, perhaps it's a nice maroon. Now we've got there, perhaps it's just a light color. Maybe not the light color because you can't read that. So let's go and settle with a nice dark maroon there. And you would have noticed I've made this section here, the color of this large section is just one of those lighter colors from the image. So I just would have chosen one of these little colors from the fire. And this is how you can create your color palette on a website. Now with Why Choose Us, we've got some bullet points here, and they're boring. They're just your basic Microsoft Word bullet points with big black ugly circles right next to each section. And they're aligned to the left. And this is not doing it for me. I'll tell you that much, mate. It's not doing it for me. Because what we want to do is make them stand out, exaggerate them, and give them importance. You know, give them a stress as you would give words a stress to show their importance. So what we can do instead is I will delete the next two. I will paste them somewhere else, get them out of the way, and let's just deal with these guys one by one. Let's get rid of the bullet point there, and let's say we want to use icons with these. I reckon icons is a pretty sweet idea. So what we'll do is we're going to have three different services here, and we're going to put them next to each other. So we're going boom, boom, boom. We're hitting you with three big services right here. Triple threat. Figma Firewood, honest, reliable, obligation-free quotes, over 15 years experience. You want to go with Figma Firewood. It's unbelievable. These guys will make you the greatest firewood you could ever conceive. This is what these services are saying. They're showing off the product. They're selling the product. And that's what you got to do on a website, because selling works. People buy things if someone is confident to deliver it and say what's good about it in as less words as possible, as less fluff as possible. So what we have here is nice little boxes, and they're floating next to each other. So already we've got boom, boom, boom. 3 features. Beautiful. And here's another thing we can do. We can add some icons to it. Now I've prepared one earlier. Here's a little icon I cooked up earlier. So there we go. Now you can get these icons for free from Icon 8. You can get them from other websites. So that was icon with the number 8. You just type in free icon, commercial free, and you can get them attribute free as well. So you can get them from anywhere, and then all you have to do is edit the color and then just chuck them into your website. Just chuck them in. Just like I'm doing now. I am chucking these little guys in, and they look amazing. These guys look incredible. Look at that. Would you look at the website now? We've got two different colors now. We've got a nice green. We've got a beautiful fireplace, beautiful firewood. Ligma Firewood Company is probably going to sell the heck out of these things with a beautiful website like that. So there you go.